What is up, guys? I am back in the Philippines after a few weeks in Canada. This is going to be a random one, but there's going to be a lot of good stuff in this vlog that I want to share with you. First of all, you guys like cappuccinos? I'm a big cappuccino fan. First time to try this place, Harlan and Holden. It's like a pop-up store right on High Street, and they're having a concert here tonight. They're just setting up for that. Lots happening here in BGC. I'm really liking that. I was at a meetup last night. There's another meetup later today. There's a speakeasy hangout thing happening Saturday night. A lot going on. This is a standout thing, I would say, compared to other parts of the Philippines when it comes to social get-togethers. Let me introduce you guys to my new favorite place to eat. It's called Heybo. If you guys like healthy food, you can get like a chicken bowl, something like that, for under $6, or about $6. You can get a beef one for like $7 and something. Massive bowls, they pile on protein, veg, quinoa. I love that kind of shit, and it's hard to find that places like that around the Philippines. So I'm learning about the area, I'm digging it, I'm liking all of these things. I'm gonna head down to the Greenbelt right now, go for a little walk, show you around, and talk about some things that were going through my head while I was in Canada, a little bit of a comparison thing, and a little bit of reinforcement. As much as it was fantastic to see my family, it always is, there's some things that just reminded me of why I'm loving it over here in this part of the world. And just to put some things into perspective for you guys, if you're thinking about moving out this way or coming out this way, I'm gonna get into a bunch of that in this video. And I'm also gonna talk about things that I'm learning about life here in BGC, specifically in terms of like the condo market, the cost of living. I made a video recently. A lot of people were asking in that video about the cost of living here. And I think that's probably a general assumption, is that BGC is not going to be a good fit for a lot of guys because of the higher cost of living. I've learned a lot about that in the last few days. Some of it good, some of it, I guess, not good. And I'll share that with you today in this video, so hang tight. I'm gonna walk down to the Greenbelt. Actually, before we head down there, I wanna show you guys something else when it comes to food and living on more of a budget here. There are places like Heybo that are affordable and healthy, and this would be probably your most budget option right over here. There is an underground cafeteria food district. Here we go. It's called Food District Signatures on 5th. So look this up on Google Maps. That's what you're looking for. It takes you downstairs, and there is like a ton of food vendors down there. Anything you can think of. Average price is like 250 pesos. So yes, there are a lot of high-end restaurants here, no doubt about it, but there's options just like these options that will be a little bit more suitable for a lot of you guys that are on a moderate budget. Oh, and by the way, this coffee, I give it an A. It's phenomenal. It's about $3. I've been getting cappuccinos all around BGC for the last few weeks that I've been here, before I went to Canada, and since I've been back. There's coffee shops on like every corner. This is definitely a place that I would go back to. There's a few of them scattered around BGC, so check it out if you're in the area. All right, so this is on the end of High Street. Just to give you a sense of where I'm at right now, this is Forbestown that I'm just coming on right now. And I might as well point this out. This is one of the, I guess, older condominium complexes in BGC. It's called Forbeswood Heights. Here you go. Little sense of the noise factor here. You cannot escape a little noise in the Philippines because of motorbikes and those rigged mufflers that a lot of Filipinos put on their bikes. But there it is. That's Forbeswood Heights. It's got a pool. It's got a little exercise room. It's not like the super high-end condo options that you can certainly get here in BGC, but it's nice. I'm staying there at an Airbnb right now, and that is one of your least expensive options. So you can get one bedrooms in there for as low as 23,000 per month. Now that would be something with pretty basic furnishings and not high end. And of course you can go up from there, and there's units in there that have much nicer furnishings, and you're gonna pay a lot more, but it's still only gonna be maybe like 35,000 for a one bedroom that's a little bit nicer. They're pretty good size. Studios are hard to come by here in BGC. There are a few at some different properties here that I've looked into, but it's mainly one bedrooms. But I just wanted to point that out, guys. If you can get a condo, like a lot of guys that I've met have for that 25K mark, that's pretty much in line with a studio in Cebu City. Like a very tiny studio in Cebu City is about 25K. So living at this place up here, right in the middle of everything, it's not in a bad area. I mean, it's literally right in prime location, BGC, Forbestown, High Street, everything in walking distance. And yeah, it's not brand new, but it's not terrible either. I think that's surprising for a lot of people, is that you can get a setup here. However, they don't have a ton. You can't necessarily just walk into town and get a unit for 25K. There's a few other buildings. I think there's an Avita in BGC that has, you know, listings around that 25K mark, and maybe a few others. But I just wanted to point out, yes, you can get a setup here at that price. However, it's not going to be plentiful like it is in Cebu City for a tiny studio at 25K. So most of the units here go at about 1,000 per square meter, and most of the one bedrooms are 35 square meters and up. So just to keep that in mind, guys, if you want that budget place, you're gonna have to be patient. You're gonna have to, you know, stay in short-term housing for a little while until you find the right setup. And that brings up another point, is that Airbnbs in this area are not cheap. Airbnb and BGC are way more expensive compared to other areas of the Philippines that I've been to. But I just wanted to be straight up with you guys that it's not as bad as what people think, but I can also see how budgets can go up here pretty quick too, just because of all of these, you know, things that you have to deal with, some of the limitations that you have to deal with. But it can work out if you really want it. You get lucky, and if you're patient, you're able to wait for the right thing to come around. And then if you, you know, only eat at the lower priced places and avoid all the fancy places that are everywhere here, and the meetups, of course, you're gonna go out and be social all the time. That's gonna add up as well. I've met a few guys that are on like 5,000 per month budget. They're going out all the time. They're living in more luxury condos. A lot of guys do have that kind of setup here. Just kind of in the back part of Forbestown, and there's a little cutaway. There's a few little sidewalks that take you. Oh, look at this little puppy. Hey, buddy. You're so little. Hi. Very dog friendly here. Lots of dogs. And you can access this little back greenbelt here. It's not like miles of greenbelt running path, but it's a good stretch, and you can kind of incorporate it with some of the streets within BGC if you want to jog or walk for longer, because everything is so walkable. Wide sidewalks, clean. So this is kind of what you're looking at. I'm not sure how far it goes, but it's a good distance to come out and get a little exercise, get a little walk. Oh, let me point this out too. This is actually something that I'm really into. I'm definitely the kind of guy that appreciates a nice view, especially if I'm sitting and editing. I like to look out at a window. Well, right on the side of BGC, you can't see it, but past the bamboo fence there is the Manila Golf and Country Club. And there's a row of condos all the way across the greenbelt. So if you're in any of the units along this side, you have a beautiful view of green space and a golf course. And I've been looking into them. The average is gonna be between maybe 50 and 60K for very nice large one bedrooms. And some of them do have studios. The cheapest units that I saw along here that have views, I think is about 35K. So, but to have like a studio unit with a view of a golf course right in BGC for 35K, pretty nice. And that's also about 35 square meters as opposed to like 25 square meters for a small studio, you know, that I'm used to in Cebu City, which is like a little shoebox. Actually, hang on, let me see if I can get through here. Can I get through here and show you guys a view? Yeah. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Miles of green space and golf course. And some of you might be wondering, well, how much is it to golf there? Apparently this is like a really prestigious golf course and membership, and it's like super pricey. There's a little section here. Every time I come through, there's a whole bunch of dogs hanging out in this little grassy area. Man, it's a hot, beautiful day here. By the way, guys, one of the things that I'm gonna get to, might as well mention it now as the sun is beating down, is Canada. Oh my God, it's freaking cold. I arrived there and it's October when I got there and it was so cold, you know, bundled up. Definitely, I've been acclimated fully and completely to the tropical weather here. And I was in Florida before that, but I'm thinking, dude, how can it get any colder than this? Like I was layers and jacket and a winter hat. And my family was like, man, this is nothing. Wait till January when it's actually cold. So that's a biggie. That's a biggie for a lot of you guys that live in cold parts of North America or Europe or wherever. I highly doubt you're gonna miss that cold weather, guys. You can just kiss cold weather goodbye. But prepare to sweat, that's for sure. All right, a few minutes further down, it's kind of a cool section right here. Little jungly section. It's one thing I noticed is that there's a lot of people working, cleaning up, pulling weeds all along High Street, doing maintenance, making sure everything looks good. So yeah, it's a premium area and you do pay for it, but they look after it, and that's not something you're gonna see everywhere in the Philippines as far as cleanliness and maintenance. So I think this is the area that they do a farmer's market on the weekend. Another cool section here with some seating. I'm gonna find a place to sit in the shade over here, talk to you guys a little bit more. And then at the end of the video, I'm actually gonna take you back to where I'm staying and show you that place, Forbeswood Heights. All right, so while I was in Canada, I had so many conversations with my family members, particularly my brother, about life here in the Philippines, life in Canada, and some things definitely stood out to me. In fact, right away when I got there, there's definitely, like, people are consumed with political things. I know for sure in the US, I haven't been back there in a while, but in Canada as well, Canada is wrapped up in all of that. And that's not just like a few people. It seems to be like everybody is caught up in some political, emotional type of mindset. It carries through in a lot of the conversations. It just keeps coming up. And that's what I remember from being back in the US. It was just like nonstop, and there was so much division between people. I would say Canada's a little bit different than that. There's not this huge division within Canada, but there's huge division between Canada and the United States right now. What I noticed though is that it's stressful. It's the fact that it's just pushed down your throat with social media, on the news, and then the more you talk about it, the more people wanna, talk about it. And the more that it comes up, the more people think about it and bring it up, and it's just, you can't even escape it. So you say, hey, let's not talk about it, and within a few minutes, it just comes up in conversation right away. That's what I remember when I was living in Florida, like how much that consumes everybody, how much that plays a part in everything, including like dating. Dating has become extremely political. I was talking to my buddy that lives in Florida, and he said that's a huge thing that comes up when you're, doing online dating, and how quickly things can escalate, and you're arguing with someone over political stuff, or that's one of the first things that you ask if you meet someone online is, where they're at politically, and it's toxic, right? It doesn't matter. I'm not getting into sides or political details or anything like that, but at the end of the day, it does get into your mood. It gets into your day-to-day, I think, happiness, and how, like, there's a bit of hate culture, right? Like, I think that's fair to say. There's hate culture no matter what side you're on. And I know a lot of guys that I've met here, one of the big reasons that they were happy to escape there and come to a place like the Philippines is to forget about all that kind of stuff. So that was one thing right away. And if that's you, and if that's something that bothers you, I would say by far, it's a minor thing here. There are guys that get political here, and they're always posting on Facebook if you're friends with them on Facebook. And then in certain areas of the Philippines, it becomes more concentrated as far as the topic of conversation. Like, I know when I was in the Dumaguete area, there is a crew there that are much more political and will talk about politics a lot more. But if you're not into that, you don't have to hang out with people like that. And by far, like I said, it's a minority here that want to bring that with them to the Philippines. So I think that's a huge plus as well. If you're thinking about coming to the Philippines, you can feel pretty confident that you're going to be able to escape that toxic culture here, for sure. Other than that, guys, I know there's more things that I noticed being back in Canada. But I would say the last thing I'll mention that stands out quite a bit is the cost of living in North America. It's absolutely out of control. I mean, from the basic going out and grabbing a bite to eat, grocery prices, rent prices, mortgage, housing prices, taxes. I have a property in Florida and I just got my tax bill. It is through the roof. It's gone up like 80% since I bought the house. So these kind of things are making life difficult for people that live in, I'm sure it's the same in other countries, but for sure in Canada and the US, this is a major thing. And it's a major thing that on the flip side, coming to a place like the Philippines, it has gone up. Cost of living has gone up. There's no question, not just here in the Philippines, mind you, anywhere in the world, I would imagine, but for sure in Southeast Asia, because I've talked to people that have spent time in Thailand recently, and they said for sure prices have gone up there as well. But it's still fractional compared to the kind of cost of living that you would have to deal with living in the West. And for some people, they don't even have an option. Like if you're getting on retirement age, you look at your budget and you look at the cost of living and the lifestyle that you can have there. This is a huge improvement for guys in that sort of situation. And even guys like me that are still working. I'm in BGC. There's a ton of guys that are still working and living in Manila, digital nomads that are, entrepreneurs and doing different things. And then, to look at it through that perspective, and for me, it's impacted me greatly. The term is called geo-arbitrage. I don't know if you've ever heard that. It's come up in conversation recently with some other digital nomads. Essentially, that's uprooting yourself from your Western country, moving to another country where cost of living drops, drastically, while still earning foreign dollars. And that offset in earning that income with the cost of living, even if you're earning less than what you were earning back home, the difference is so great, and it propels you so much further in terms of being able to save, in terms of being able to, invest and plan for your retirement. Like I said, if you're still in the age range where you're still working, it allows you to live a lifestyle that you can't even dream of back home. So these are huge things. For me, this is like number one as far as why I love it over here, among many other things, but that is a biggie, and that is a huge thing that's impacting people back in the West, my brother included, something we talked about quite a bit, how hard it is, especially with a young family. It's unbelievably expensive. Hey guys, it's a new day. I am back. I'm at my place. I just want to show you the amenities here. So this is the pool. This is Forbeswood Heights. This is actually, like I said, one of the more affordable condo complexes in BGC, and it's nice, very green, very lush, beautiful pool that I haven't even been in yet. I'm looking forward to going for a swim. And there is a little fitness room over here, and right over here is a tennis court. Like, this isn't bad at all. And I'm 100% certain, I've talked to a couple of realtors now and a guy that lives here with his girlfriend. They pay $25K, and this realtor has a unit coming available next month for $23K. I know they go up from there in this building as well, but there you go. I mean, that's definitely pretty affordable. Let me just walk in, show you a little lobby area. And I'll just walk over to this fitness area here just to give you an idea of what you get for an older building like this. So yeah, free weights, air conditioning is pumping. It's cold in here, which is huge. A lot of places you don't get that. It's kind of hot and stuffy. What I also like is that you have windows everywhere. Just really nice when you're working out. I've been in some places where it's just like dungeony and dark and there's no windows. It's kind of a crappy atmosphere for exercising. So there you go. That's Forbeswood Heights. And there's a few other older condos in BGC that are a little bit more affordable. So you can make it happen. And if you have the budget, there's brand new, super nice, super high end, and all the way up. Quick tour in here, guys. This is, like I said, an Airbnb. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that this particular unit is 2,300. I think this is pretty typical as far as the size. The furnishings and like maybe the layout, but mainly the furnishings make the difference as far as the prices. But if you can get a place for 2,300, you can always do things to it to make it a little bit more comfy. I know people that change the mattress out and change some of the furniture, but not too shabby, guys. As far as size, to get a one bedroom in that even 25,000 range, you can't even find that in like IT Park or Cebu Business Park in Cebu City. So you can technically live here for less than Cebu City if you're willing to live in one of the older buildings. And if you find one like this that's been updated, you're gonna pay more. If you wanna live in the same budget as you can in Cebu City or another city in the Philippines, I think it would just take you longer, unless you get lucky, I think it would just take you longer to find that setup here. If you can bump up your budget to a place that's like 30, 35, or 40K plus for a condo, then the sky's the limit. There's tons of options in that price range. And then, you know, the rest of your budget comes down to you, your lifestyle. Are you gonna go grocery shopping, or are you gonna go out all the time? So I just wanted to talk about these things throughout the video, because that was a huge thing that came up in that recent video that I made, saying, yeah, BGC is nice and all, but it's way too expensive. There's no way I can afford it. So there you go. It's, you know, potentially with the right setup here, it's more affordable than you think. Before I end this video, guys, I want to talk about one last thing. Whenever I come back, let me walk. I'm just gonna walk and talk. Whenever I come back to the Philippines after a trip in Canada, something just like ignites inside of me, like this, a new adventure is upon me, and I get excited about coming back. Now, the Philippines is not perfect, and I talk about the pros and the cons a lot on my channel, and maybe you've heard different things, and maybe you're wondering, is the Philippines the right fit, or is Thailand or Vietnam that much better? Well, I can tell you this. Before I came here, the day before I hopped on a plane, all my family got together, and my brother was chiming into this conversation quite a bit. We were talking about the Philippines. My family was asking me, so how's life there? And are you excited to get back there? How long are you going to stay for? And I started telling them about, life in the Philippines and the things that I love about the Philippines. And my brother, he got so excited. He was in the Philippines for a little while. He came out in December, and we had some adventures together. He came out for a month, and we toured around. I had my motorbike, rented a motorbike for him, and we adventured all over the place. It was an amazing trip. And he got a taste for life here. And he realized after, a few days of adventuring together, he's like, I get it, man. Like, I totally understand why you don't want to leave. I understand why you love it here. And he saw both sides. He saw some of the things, and I've talked to him quite a bit about both sides of the fence, right? The pros and the cons. And he gets that. But what he pointed out and what he was sharing with my family, and as he was getting excited, thinking, man, I want to go back and do it again, it's the feeling of freedom. It's the feeling of adventure. The feeling of, when the cost is as low as it is, it opens up the doors for so many things. Living in Canada, as I was talking about before, with the cost of living, you don't have that freedom. You don't have that luxury. Even with his family, they make pretty good money. They got to think about every single purchase that they make. They have to hold back on, vacations that they want to do, or they have to hold back on going out and eating when they would rather go out and eat, but they just can't afford to do that all the time. And that's normal, right? Even for an upper middle class family in North America. So he felt that right away. And as we explored around, and as we were staying in and out of Airbnbs and going out to restaurants, he was realizing, he's like, dude, this isn't eating into my monthly, the amount of money that I brought for this trip at all. He's like, it's going so far. So that was a biggie. That was a huge thing that he recognized, and can see why I love that feeling. The other thing was just about the freedom of the culture here. And what I mean by that is you're coming to a place with very friendly, welcoming people, very accepting of you, who you are, being here in the Philippines. It makes you feel safe. It makes you, because it is mainly safe here. Everywhere I've been, I've never had any issues with safety in the Philippines. In fact, I think it's questionably less safe in North America. There's crap happening in Canada. There's crap happening all over the US. And that might even be a clear shot. What am I trying to say? That might even be no argument as far as safety, comparing North America to the Philippines. Despite what you might hear, there's very few areas that I think are considered unsafe here in the Philippines. So we explored around. We went everywhere. We're on our motorbikes. We're on and off ferries. We're going down dirt roads. We're in little villages. And all he experienced, and what he was talking to my family about, is it didn't matter where we went. He was running into people that were friendly, smiling, waving, welcoming, wanting to invite us over for the food that they were cooking. You know, the freedom of just flowing around, island hopping, and the amount of options that you have to seek adventure and to achieve that adventure goal that you might have. You can obtain that here so easily. You know, if you're up for adventure, Philippines is like, take your pick, go in whatever direction you want, and go and explore and get off the beaten path and get out of the city, get out of the bubble. So we did all that, and he absolutely loved it. So it's kind of the whole picture of freedom. It's that it just checks so many boxes, especially for, I think, a lot of guys that feel maybe pent up, that feel maybe stuck, you know, doing the same thing, monotony. I think a lot of guys would much rather have that free-flowing adventure, go here, go there, and not have to overthink it, not have to worry about, well, it's going to cost me too much, or I don't know if I'm allowed to go there, or I don't know if it's safe to go there. You just don't run into that here in the Philippines. And so I loved that conversation and hearing the excitement come out of my brother's mouth, like reliving the adventure that we had and knowing that here I go again, back to the Philippines and all the things that I had to look forward to coming back here. It's a good feeling, and I wanted to share that story with you guys if you've never been here before, or if you're just getting started, that yes, despite drawbacks that are here and it's not perfect, nowhere's perfect, guys. I'm telling you, if you go to the other countries in the region, yeah, they all have their advantages, but they have their drawbacks as well. The English speaking, don't underestimate the impact that English speaking has on your day-to-day life, on how you're going to function and just enjoy interacting with the locals, or just talk to the locals for things that you might have to talk to them about, as far as what you might need, where you might need to go, or what you might need to get. Anything that you need to talk and interact and ask people, you don't have to worry about that here. And that can be challenging in other countries. Now I know, yeah, that's another conversation. It's another video to compare pros and cons, and it really comes down to your preference and your priorities. But the Philippines is a unique place, guys, and it is what you make it. It is all about the mindset that you come here with. But if you're seeking some adventure, you enjoy nature, and you want to interact with people and have an easy conversation and a smiling face and feel welcome, and you're going to really appreciate that. You're going to love it here, guys. I'm happy to be back. So many more adventures to come. This was a random one. This was a little bit of everything, but I wanted to share some of these thoughts that have been going through my mind over the last few weeks, being in Canada, now that I'm back. So I'll be here for a little bit in BGC. I'm enjoying it, and I really want to discover this area and what it's like to live here, and we'll see as far as how that goes. I will be making more videos on life here in BGC. However, my motorbike is in Negros. It's at my buddy's house, and I definitely plan on more adventures. So I will be at some point going back there, getting my bike, left some things there, and I'll be planning some trips around the Philippines, also international to some other countries, and to make some comparison videos. Definitely want to do more of that for my own learning and to help you guys out if you're trying to figure out what's best for you and you're just curious about that kind of thing. I'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Stay tuned. Many more adventures to come. Take care. Bye.